Welcome back, Star Babes. This is Under the Star Babes here, and I wanted to discuss some things with you. If you're tuning in today, it's not an accident. You are here because your soul is navigating a threshold. Our topic today is heavy, but is incredibly liberating. Walking away from loveless places. What does it mean to walk away from a place, a job, a relationship, or even a societal structure that no longer knows how to love you? It means recognizing when the energetic cost of staying is requiring you to bankrupt your own peace. Right now, if you look at the world around us, the collective energy is incredibly loud. We are witnessing massive structural fractures right here at home. Look at the current out of bounds movement and the growing economic boycott happening within black communities in the U.S. right now. Families, fans, and top athletes are actively choosing to withhold their financial power and athletic talent from major flagship universities and states that are actively working to dilute and dismantle their political representation. Let's also look at the Asian boycott crisis. Uh, Asian businesses are losing money, a lot of black money, because blacks are just tired of being disrespected and murdered, etc. People are hitting a breaking point, realizing that they can no longer fund institutions, hair stores, nail salons, and shops, restaurants that celebrate them on the field but not in the store. They celebrate you when you give them the money, but not in a friendly way. But then they turn around and try to hurt you, accuse you of being a thief. And it goes on and on. But there's a difference between reacting out of anger and consciously choosing to elevate your frequency. Today we're going to look at these current events through a different lens. We're going to map what's happening to the scale of consciousness so you can see exactly where you stand, why staying in a loveless environment drains you, and how to gracefully step into a completely new reality. Let's talk about what a loveless place actually feels like. It isn't always a screaming match or an environment filled with obvious hostility. More often than not, a loveless place is a space of chronic misalignment. It's an environment where your presence is tolerated rather than celebrated. It's a workplace that demands your absolute dedication but views you as an interchangeable asset. It's a relationship where you're constantly shrinking your light so someone else doesn't feel blinded by it. When we look at the scale of consciousness, the framework calibrated by Dr. David Hawkins that maps human emotion and awareness from low vibrational survival states to high vibrational spiritual clarity, loveless places operate entirely on the lower half of the map. They are dense. They pull you down into pride, where 175, where institutional arrogance, rigid power structures, and systematic we value what you produce, not who you are mentalities refuse to see human values. Anger, calibrated at 150, the undercurrent of friction, volatility, and demands for compliance. And fear, calibrated at 100, the anxiety of walking on eggshells, wondering if you're doing enough, or the fear of scarcity if you choose to step away from the system. When you spend 40 hours a week or years of your personal life immersed in a field calibrated below 200. Your nervous system is trapped in survival mode. You aren't creating, you are defending. You aren't thriving, you're just trying to survive. This brings us directly to what we are witnessing on the national stage right now. It is impossible to ignore the massive cultural shift and the growing athletic boycotts targeting major public universities across states like Tennessee, Louisiana, Texas, and Georgia. When a community stands up and says, we will no longer allow our children's brilliant athletic prowess to generate hundreds of millions of dollars for states that treat our grandmothers' voting rights as disposable, what you're seeing is a massive collective movement operating on the scale of consciousness. Now let's break down where that movement sits. The catalyst for a boycott or a strike always starts in anger, 150, and pride, 175. It's an immediate reaction to being unseen, disrespected, or structurally minimized. But when a community organizes to say, we are redirecting our talent, our resources, and our genius elsewhere, they are attempting to push their collective energy up to courage, 200. Courage is the critical turning point on the scale. It is the absolute threshold where real empowerment begins. Below 200, you feel like a helpless victim of your circumstances. At 200, you realize you have choice, you have urgency, you recognize the power of your own containment. The collective out-of-bounds shift is a macrocosmic mirror of exactly what you are being called to do on a microcosmic level in your personal life. The community is pulling its presence from spaces that don't respect the human element. You are allowed to do the exact same thing with your personal energy. You don't have to participate in the political anxiety to learn the lesson of your movement. Your presence, your attention, and your labor are a currency. Stop spending them in places that treat you like a transaction. That's deep. Stop spending your money in these Asian stores and establishments that do not treat you as currency, but they treat you as a transaction. So how do we walk away from dragging the low vibrational sludge of that loveless place with us? Because here's a trap. If you leave a toxic situation out of pure hatred, resentment, or a desire for revenge, you're still bound to it, guys, energetically. Anger keeps you tied to the very thing you are running from. To truly walk away and become completely unrecognizable to your past, you have to shift your own calibration. You have to move past the lower frequencies and enter the upper tiers of the scale. Neutrality, calibrated at 250. This is the ultimate. It is what it is state. When you reach neutrality, you stop needing the loveless space to apologize to you. You stop trying to fix it or change their minds. You look at the environment and say, this space has a right to exist at its current frequency, but I have a right not to be here. It takes the emotional charge out of leaving. Willingness, calibrated at 310. This is where you open yourself up to new possibilities. You become willing to take a leap of faith, to trust your resourcefulness, to invest in your own growth, your own business, or your own sanctuary. Black people are now opening businesses, replacing the ones that disrespected them. Restaurants, hair care stores, other establishments. Acceptance, calibrated at 350. You fully accept that the loveless place was part of your journey, a contrast that showed you exactly who you are not, so you are clearly there to choose who you are. We don't need them. We need ourselves. Build your own business, guys. Stick together and support each other. When you walk away from the frequency of acceptance, you leave with clean hands and a clear heart. You aren't fleeing in panic. You're stepping forward in sovereignty. As we wrap up today's episode, I want you to take a deep breath. Look at your life right now. Look at the spaces you occupy, the tables you sit at, and the media you consume. If the collective world is currently in a state of massive realization, withholding its presence from systems that dilute their worth, take that as your divine permission slip to audit your own life. You do not owe your loyalty to a structure that requires you to abandon yourself. Walk away from the loveless places. Walk toward peace. Walk toward environments that celebrate your high vibration and support your expansion. Thank you for spending this time with me under the stars. If this has resonated with your journey today, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with another soul who needs the courage to step over the threshold. Keep flying high, guys. Stay grounded, and I will see you in the next episode. Namaste.